upon. We are here in Great Britain for the inaugural running of the 4 races of Hartlepool. Hello folks, I'm Bob Fergus. We welcome you to this 4-race inaugural telecast here on the HTFRA television network as we get set to go racing. I first want to say this. Thank you, Sean Galligan, for helping me out with the 4 races. And although you're not going to be doing the filming, I mean, you're still open to that, and I understand. I've decided that I will do the filming by myself, but if you would like to suggest any other things on how I can improve the broadcast itself or anything else within the nature of the 4 races, that would be greatly appreciated, buddy. And I gotta say, thank you for helping out, and thank you for getting more drivers to sign up for this series. And I'd like to thank not only you, but also all the drivers that have signed up and the drivers that have tried to sign up. So, you guys are very well darn lucky to be a part of this marquee event of 4 races. So without further ado, let's take a look at the starting grid for the inaugural race of the 4 races altogether. Pichu London, he's on pole, and he'll line up next to his teammate Madison Denhart and the 97 car. Row 2, we have Eric Burton and Monica Carroll. Row 3, Luke Martin, driving one of 2 specially painted rides that will make up the 4 races altogether. Luke will line up next to Evan Earnhardt. Johnny Gardner, his lucky number is number 2. That can all change to number 1 if he's lucky enough to win at least one of the 4 races altogether. Johnny will line up next to Randy Carpenter. Then we have driver of the 21, Jacob Bell, lining up next to Brandon Bain. Connor Breton in the famed Tide Ride will line up next to Ralph Mason. Elijah Koufax will line up next to the 55 of Steve Sinofsky. One of 3 Sinofsky brothers here. Jason failed to get a ride, so as a token of our appreciation, we've allowed Jason to come to Hartlepool for free attendance, and he's actually working as a spotter, but the information from the HTFRA has not been disclosed to us as to whether he's being a spotter to Steve or Kyle. Kyle starting towards the back of the field. Seth Cole, he's teammates with the hometown man. You can see him a few rows back. He's in the Target Dodge. Seth Cole in the Target Dodge will line up next to Max Skinner, driving a similarly painted Sprint Dodge to that of the one he drives over in the Dodge All-Pro Series. Then we have Michael Skinner lining up next to Trey Normile. Teammates, the 15 of Aaron Mason, will line up next to Richard Johnson. Then we have Matthew McMurray lining up next to the hometown man himself, Sean Galligan. Sean has got to be very, very hyped up for this race. He cannot wait for the safety car to leave and get this show on the road. He's actually hoping within the first of 4 races. As a matter of fact, all drivers can create history by trying to get at least 1 win within the 4 races. So it's going to be awfully difficult. So best of luck to you, Sean, and to all the other drivers in the field. Challen Wales in one of 2 UAW Dodge Steelers cars in the field will line up next to David Rochester, Michael Nemechek, and David Burton. Danny Wells in the 2002 Champions Ride will line up next to Denholm Renholm, Molly Nemechek, and Diego Ospina. Kyle Sinofsky and Aaron Williams, and rounding out your field will be Matt Wells. The green flag is moments away. We will get to you there just in time after this and a word from our sponsors. Back here with the 4 races of Hartlepool, everybody. And as we get set to go racing right now, very amazing qualifying run for Madison Denhart in the number 97, Sharpie Ford. Normally you wouldn't see women be up front in the qualifying order, especially marquee races like this, but I got to give props to her, and especially to all the other women that have qualified up front. Monica Carroll on that outside line qualified right behind Maddie, although she is starting 4th overall. They now come under the Goodyear tire bridge. The safety car has dived down into pit road. Fans on their feet. And the green flag is out. The inaugural running of the 4 races of Hartlepool is go, go, go. A little bit of a spin-off quote from famed BBC race announcer for Formula One, Murray Walker. There go the cars as they zoom by. So far, so good. It has been caution-free. Luke Martin getting drafting help from Evan Earnhardt. And side by side, Monica Carroll with Eric Burton. But right now, the teammates make up the front two spots, and Pichu London is leading, and Madison Denhart is currently second. And no cars, as of right now, have retired. Very amazing. We have some side-by-side racing going on in the back of the field right now. And right now we're starting to see a little bit of a case of two-car tango racing between Evan Earnhardt and Luke Martin. But on back. These guys are side-by-side. Troy Normiles battling with Michael Skinner right now. Leading the Ganassi guys right now, Seth Cole. And right now, he's made a daring pass, and he's completed successfully over Max Skinner. I don't know if Skinner might have checked up. It's still green flag. Seemed like Max might have checked up, given Seth Cole the advantage, but sooner or later, looks like he's going to be forced up high by Max Skinner. Michael, Max's brother, is right behind him, and right now he's going to get a charge from Matthew McMurray in just a few laps or so, if Matthew can keep a draft. And now we're seeing some side-by-side racing going on up front. Drivers have been on and off in terms of their side-by-side performance. However, really up front, we haven't seen any, except for Madison Denhart and Pichu London being the Road Hogs. It's almost as if Madison Denhart used her Lord Chromacorn powers to block Eric Burton from making a pass, or even slow him up a bit. And Pichu London right now, looks like he's tagged along. Side by side right now with Evan Earnhardt and Luke Martin. For a second there. Looks like he's now falling back, and Randy Carpenter and the guys right behind him, even the Penske teammates of Brandon Bain and Johnny Garner, looks like they're going to try and put a charge on to Evan. But right now, Luke Martin is solidly running by himself. But here comes Evan Earnhardt looking to put a move onto Luke. This is going to force Luke to check up. And here comes Matthew McMurray. He just dived down under the one of Michael Skinner. And right now he's going to be seeing a challenge from Callum Wales and Troy Normiles sooner or later. There's the 43 of Michael Nemechek. And whoa! Looks like heavy braking from Trey Normile. That's going to give the position where Trey is currently in. And at scored at the line, he was 19th. Looked like there that Michael was going to steal the position away. But now looks like he's going to be falling right in line between the two Dodge cars. The 9 of Matt Wells and the 19 of Callum Wales. There's how Danny is doing in the Champions ride as of right now. There's Kyle Sinoski towards the back of the field. And right now we're seeing a battle between Callum and Michael. Callum Wales has been a very successful Australian stock car driver in many other sanctioning bodies, like the MFN-SRA, for example. He's recorded a few wins in many of the leagues he races in. And there we see Trey Normile battling with Matthew McMurray. Matthew's going to cough up that position to Trey. And that looked like to be for the 17th position. But still, these guys are keeping it single file. Even in the back of the pack, where earlier on in the race, as we were approaching halfway, we saw drivers go Duke side by side. And there's Sean Galligan, everybody. Not the run he was expecting, no. At the line, our scorecard has shown him being scored in the 26th position. If this were a Menards win a heat race in Season 1, that would be close to dead last. Since we had 28 cars that made up the regular season field, with the exception of Charlotte, as Madison Denhart, still in second right now, according to a scorecard, was allowed to race in that race due to the fact she did not have the run she expected in the Road Atlanta LCQ. So as makeup, she decided to re-debut herself at Charlotte, and eventually she scored pole position. So expect Madison to put on a show at Daytona, as that will be her only Season 2 race. We have some action going on up front right now. Michael Nemechek battling with the Dodge guys right now. Callum Wales in a 19, and here comes Matt Wells trying to put a charge onto not only Michael but also his teammate. But don't count the guys right behind him. The 15, the 20, and the 17. Aaron Mason in the 15. Here comes Michael trying to dive down to the inside. He seems to be strong enough in doing so, but looks like he's falling back so he can build up his draft with Callum and not make a move toward until the end of the race. And I guess that's what some of the drivers, if not all the drivers, are doing until the end of the race. Putting a charge on now, but just pre-charging for when the end of the race is going to be like. And oh, someone's blown an engine. Who is that? That's Monica Carroll. And her teammate Randy Carpenter just drove alongside her. I think she might have broken something under the hood. Unbelievable. She might have dropped a cylinder. And unfortunately, she is the first retiree in the history of the 4 races to drop out, but it has not produced a caution yet. Unbelievable. And there was a battle. And this battle's been going on for much of the race between Michael Nemechek and Matthew McMurray right now. Unbelievable. And that's at around the halfway mark. We saw Monica just drop out. Here comes Trey Normile trying to dive down to the inside of Max Skinner, and that pass is going to be completed successfully. And looks like Michael Skinner is going to try and perform the same thing. Here's Michael right now diving down to the inside of Max, the Skinner brothers. There's Matthew McMurray once again trying to get into the mix. He's been battling with some big name and small name drivers. Michael Skinner is considered a small name in the HTFRA because he has not made himself that much of a big... Oh, is someone smoking again? Yes, indeed. That's Steve Sinoski. What the heck is happening? Is that going to bring out a safety car? Yes, it is. It's brought out a safety car. And I don't think even Steve is going to make it back to the pits. He is the second driver And he was running in the top 10. Just as the engine expired on him. Unbelievable. Sinoski, bad luck. We see Jason failed to get a ride. He's now working as a spotter. And now we see Steve with a blown motor. And then we saw Kyle start in the back of the field, according to our scorecard right now. And I don't think this was why the caution came out. I don't think it was for Steve Sinoski. There's front-end damage to Aaron Williams' car. And Diego Ospina. David Rochester was involved as well. How in the world did this unfold? Let's take a look at our replay and see how all of this unfolded. Here's from a spectator cam. Let's see how all this unfolded. Here comes David, and looks like those rumble strips on the inside loosened up his car. Crashes hard into the outside wall. But then watch this. Here comes Ospina. And there's where Aaron Williams gets his damage. And unbelievable. I think that's the reason why the caution came out. I did not notice that. Heavy engine expirations for not only those that had their engine let go for some odd reason, but also in the result of this incident right here. Bad luck for a lot of these drivers. Well, unfortunately, let's take a look at our race card right now. The drivers that have retired. We saw, I did not notice this, for Molly Nemechek. She retired due to a camshaft. The same problem was reported from Monica Carroll. Aaron Williams has retired, as well as Diego Ospina, David Rochester. An ignition problem was reported for the 55 of Steve Sinoski, and then an engine problem with the 15 of Aaron Mason. So those are the drivers retired as of right now. But we take a look at not only a race card, but the drivers out in the field, well, on the track right now, not out as a result of an incident. The first four positions have been dominated by Fords, that of Pichu London, Madison Denhart, Eric Burton, and Luke Martin. You have to go all the way back to 5th to find the first Chevrolet in the top 5, or even in the top 10, and that's Evan Earnhardt. 9th, we have Ralph Mason, the highest Pontiac driver. And then the highest Dodge driver right now in the field is Max Skinner. He is currently running in the 11th position. But here comes Pichu London. And we're only going to have about 4 laps to go. So if the caution comes out again, this race is over. Pichu London trying to put a block on his teammate, Madison Denhart. He gets the jump, and we're back under racing here in Bullitt. Got racing going on back there. Randy Carpenter for a moment there was challenging drivers like Brandon Bain and Johnny Gardner for position. The Penske guys have been doing strong all this race, still in the top 10. Madison Denhart looks like she's gaining ground on Pichu London. He has led all the laps here. I'm not kidding you. He has led every single lap here at Bullitt today. And what's kind of weird, he's in Jeff Burton's number 99 car. And at one point when Jeff was in the 99, this was in the 2000 season, he led every lap in the 2000 Duraloop Kmart 300 from New Hampshire, which was dubbed by NASCAR fans as the worst race ever. They ran restrictor plates as a result of the deaths of Kenny Irwin Jr. and Adam Petty. Petty's was in a Busch race practice incident. Irwin's was in Winston Cup. But how amazing would it be if Pichu London were to win this race? But here comes Madison Denhart gaining her ground on him. And Maddie's trying to spoil the fun for Pichu. Now the tunnel they come. Pichu makes a mistake now. This race could be over for him. Although it would not be open, or at least over for Roush. Roush has dominated this race. And Eric Burton is in the top 3 as the white flag comes out right now. Basically, Roush has hogged up 3 of the 4 top 5 positions. Steve Sinoski, according to a race card, is currently being scored 15th at the line. But coming into turn number 3, it looks like it's not going to be a knock for Winkle. As now the star is going to shine for Pichu London. Coming out into turn number 4 on the front stretch under the Goodyear Bridge. Pichu London wins race number 1 of 4 in the 4 races of Hartlepool. Wow, what a finish. And that's how the cookie crumbles at the end of race number 1 right here, folks. You basically for yourself can figure out where you are in points. Points videos will not be posted until after race number 2. But thanks for joining us here on the HTFRA television network. Look at the race card, or as a matter of fact, we're going to go and right now pull up where you are and where you have finished within the 4 races right now. So the final results look like this. Pichu London first, Madison Denhart second, Eric Burton third, Luke Martin fourth, Evan Earnhardt finishes 5th in car number 5, Randy Carpenter 6th, Brandon Bain 7th, Johnny Gardner 8th, Ralph Mason 9th, Trey Normile 10th. The Skinner brothers finish 11th and 12th respectively. Michael 11th, Max 12th, Matt Wales finishes 13th, Callum Wales 14th, Kyle Sinoski 15th. The hometown man finishes 16th, but there's 3 races to go, so he's hoping he can at least put a little bit of history into the history books after the 4 races altogether. David Burton 17th, Richard Johnson 18th, Denholm Renholm 19th, Connor Breton 20th, Seth Cole 21st, Elijah Koufax 22nd, Michael Nemechek 23rd, Danny Wells 24th, Jacob Bell 25th, Matthew McMurray 26th, Aaron Mason 27th, Steve Sinoski 28th, David Rochester 29th, Diego Espina 30th, Aaron Williams 31st, Monica Carroll 32nd, and rounding out your field, finishing dead last, was Molly Nemechek. So 2 women finished 32nd and 33rd respectively, so not how women wanted to put on a show here, as Madison Denhart was the highest finishing woman in this race, coming home 2nd. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the HTFRA Television Network. Stay tuned for race number 2. I'm Bob Fergus signing off until we meet again for race number 2.